Hello everyone, my name is Rainer. Welcome to my channel Rainierbooks. Today it's time for another single review in my segment I've read something. What I've read is Brit Bennett's novel The Vanishing Half that was published I think in February this year by Røde Books in New York, and it was by Dialogue Books in the United Kingdom. That's right, 2020 Brit Bennett's novel The Vanishing Half. Let's get started. Brit Bennett, it's difficult to find Brit Bennett's birthday, but it's definite that she was born in 1990, so she's a very young American author, 30 years old. She was born in the beautiful town of, I'm sure it's beautiful, Oceanside. With that name, it must be a beautiful city, doesn't it? A beautiful town north of San Diego. It's about, I think, 35-40 minutes with car north of San Diego. And Brit Bennett has studied at one of the best American universities, I guess, Stanford University, and she did her MFA, which is the Master of Fine Arts, at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And she debuted in 2016 with her novel The Mothers, which already was a New York Times bestseller. So she was 26 years old when she published The Mothers, and this year, 4 years after The Mothers, she has published The Vanishing Half, which was one of the most expected books of the year and which has been in the discussion for many, many months now. And I think it is a definite candidate for the long list of the National Book Award that will be published on September 18. Yes. So what is The Vanishing Half about? It is a novel about two twin sisters, about Desiree and Stella Vignes, probably their name is pronounced. They come from a little village that doesn't really exist. It doesn't exist in reality. It doesn't really exist in the novel, because the author is always saying that they come from a village so small that it is on no map in the United States, and it is on no map in the novel, and it is on no map in reality. But you can localize the town somewhere, the village somewhere in the state of Louisiana. I think there are some hints of other geographical places in the novel that must put Mallard about, I think, 1 or 2 hours away to the west of Louisiana's biggest city, New Orleans. I want to read the beginning of the novel because that really caught me already. It's such an epic story about this little village and about the people, the two twin sisters. 1. The morning one of the lost twins returned to Mallard, Lou Le Bon ran to the diner to break the news. And even now, many years later, everyone remembers the shock of sweaty Lou pushing through the glass doors, chest heaving, neckline darkened with his own effort. The barely awake customers clamored around him, 10 or so, although more would lie and say they'd been there too, if only to pretend that this once they'd witnessed something truly exciting. In that little farm town, nothing surprising ever happened, not since the Vignes twins had disappeared. But that morning in April 1968, on his way to work, Lou spotted Desiree Vignes walking along Partridge Road carrying a small leather suitcase. She looked exactly the same as when she'd left at 16, still light, her skin the color of sand, barely wet, her hipless body reminding him of a branch caught in a strong breeze. She was hurrying, her head bent, and Lou paused here, a bit of a showman. She was holding the hand of a girl, 7 or 8, and black as tar. That really is such a strong beginning of a novel. I loved it. I really loved it, and I knew that I would love The Vanishing Half. The story is told in 6 chapters that have also year numbers behind it. For example, the first chapter is called The Lost Twins. The first part starts in 1968, and the last one is called Places, 1986. But it spans more than those years, because sometimes in the telling of the story about the two twins, the Vigne twins, Stella and Desiree, the story moves back to 1954, and then it goes back to 1968 to 1978, and even in those chapters that span, that for example are situated more or less in 1982, they might move back to in the memory of some of the characters. It is the story of two twins that come from a very strange place, Millard, in the state of Louisiana, that doesn't really exist. And this is a town where mostly Afro-American people live, but almost every one of those people, Afro-American people live there, have very light skin. And they really are very proud of their light skin, and they cultivate their light skin, and they don't want to marry people, other Afro-American people that have darker skin, to sort of a strange thing. And I wondered, as a non-knowing European reader, is that possible? Is that ever possible? No, of course it isn't. But Brit Bennett has told in an interview that I saw with her about the book that she had actually got that idea from her mother. Her mother told her about this mythological place in Louisiana. Mother comes from Louisiana, where she, where the people have lights, the black people have very light skin. And this is very important for the novel, because when they are 16 years of age, they leave Millard because they don't want to have anything to do with this little rural village, and they go to New Orleans, to the big city in Louisiana, right? And Desiree is actually the one who wants to go away. Stella doesn't want to go away. And Stella finally gets a job as a white, and she is seen as a white secretary, as a white woman. And she moves, she takes a job in order to provide for the two sisters, but then she slides away, and her sister doesn't know what has become, Desiree doesn't know what has become of Stella. Stella's just gone. And later we know what happened, that Stella really changed her identity and continued her life as a white woman first in, I think, in Boston, and then she moves to the west, to Los Angeles in California. And both women don't see each other in decades. Desiree doesn't know anything about Stella, and Stella doesn't care to know anything about Desiree, and this haunts both sisters probably very much. We know it does. And for some reason, and for some arbitrary reasons, things happen that bring them, at least for a little while, back together. And no spoilers here, but both women, Desiree and Stella, they have daughters. Desiree married a very dark black man and got this daughter, black as tar, as it says here in the first paragraph. Her name is Jude. Jude moves at some point to California in order to study, and somehow the family is reunited. She goes to California and she works as a caterer on a party, and for some reason she will meet people that are connected, that are from the other half of the family. So we have, over those 350 pages, we meet a lot of amazing characters. I loved Desiree and Stella, and their story is so compelling. Both of the women's story is so compelling and so unimaginably beautiful, that it really broke my heart at some parts of the novel. Stella, who is living her life as a white woman, neglecting her blackness that is not visible to most of the people, and denying her past, denying her family. This is so sad in a way, and made me so incredibly sad that I really couldn't figure out how this even is possible. And then both the kids, Jude is the daughter of Desiree, the black as tar daughter of Desiree, and Stella has a daughter, Kennedy, who is blonde when she is born, who doesn't even know until a lot later in her life that she has a mother who is not white. This is so strange and so hard even for the characters not to know anything about their origin, except for Stella, who knows. And also the background which happens, I think that Brit has said in that interview that I saw that she didn't want her characters to have sort of an activist role in in the civil rights movement in the United States, because she wanted to describe the life of normal people, and she has done that in such a beautiful way. Of course, the events of all those years between 1954 and 1986 do influence the lives of the sisters and of their families, but they are not, the historical events are not in the focus, the lives are in the focus. And we have very strong female characters in these novels. We have also Jude's boyfriend, Reese, who's a transgender person, and all his troubles over the years, and the beautiful relationship he has with Jude. And I also liked Desiree's boyfriend a lot. He is a hunter, a bounty hunter. His name is Early, and he has a very special, beautiful relationship with Desiree. Comes and goes all the time, but still they are very, very closely connected to each other. And even the life of Stella as a white woman in those suburbs that some American politicians want to protect now, and promise to protect from lower income people. We have a situation where a black woman, Loretta, is moving with her black family into those richer suburbs of Los Angeles, and about Stella's and Stella's husband Blake's and all the neighbors' treatment of this black family who had enough money to move into the neighborhood but who wasn't welcome there. This is so greatly depicted that I think that all in all, The Vanishing Half is a novel that really engaged me. It poses so many questions. It's, of course, the questions of race and identity and the choices we made and the choices we may regret. And can we come back to the point it was before, or is that not possible? All that is a question. And I think that even, I don't know if it's even allowed to say that, I would love to discuss that with the author. Even beyond the question of race, I see another even larger question in that novel, and that is the universal question for all races, for all humankind, is can we, our dream to be something or someone else, is that possible? And what consequences do we have to face to really reach that desire that some people have to be somebody completely different, to be somebody completely else? What do we pay? All those questions are great, and this is why I love The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett, which must be on the NBEA, on the National Book Award list, on the long list. Jury, if you hear me, if you don't have that on the list, you can go home. This is my review of the book. I would love to know what you think of The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. Write it in the comments down below, drop me a line. This is one of the best books that I have read over the year of 2020, and I recommend it to each and everyone out there. And thank you very much for watching this, and I hope we'll see each other soon on this channel. Bye bye.